that's where it all is. That's basically the most important body parts in boxing, the legs and hips, because that's where all the balance and power comes from, basically. So if you're a southpaw like me, you're going to want your front foot be your right foot, and your back foot be your left foot. And you're kind of going to want your back foot to be pointed that way, so that way it can be kind of like your backbone, or like you fall back or something like that. And so you're going to want your front foot to be a little pointed this way, like how it is right here. So that way you don't like fall down or anything like that. Basically for balance as well. And what you're also going to do, you're going to make sure that your feet are under you, under your shoulders, so that way they're not too far and you're not falling around everywhere. You're going to want to make sure that your front toe is all kind of aligned with your back heel, so that way it's a good balance stance. You know what I mean? And you're also going to want to bend your knees, make sure that you have your knees bent and all your weight down on your thighs and on your feet. And you're not going to want to be flat-footed at all. You're going to want to keep your weight on your toes. You don't want to put your heels on the ground or anything, because if you're flat-footed and you have your heels on the ground, then it's not really going to work. You're going to fall down when you get punched. And so yeah, this is basically a stance. You're going to want to make sure you keep your chin down and your fists all the way to your cheeks like this. Elbows down, fists forward like this, knuckles showing forward, and your fingers are in front of you, basically. And make sure that you do a little movement, make sure that you're balanced, you know what I mean? Do a little bobbing and weaving. And yeah, this is going to be the stance right here that you want. If you can see my legs, my arms and everything, this is how you're going to want to be balanced, you know? Yeah. And that's all for me on the video about balance. Alright, so basically the jab is basically the most important punch that you can know how to do. It's going to help you for everything: defense, offense, countering, keeping distance, trying to attack and close distance, everything. The jab's going to help you with anything. So basically what you want to do is you want to get in your basic stance. My stance is southpaw, so I'm going to keep my front foot like this. So let's get in the stance. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is the jab is your front. It's going to be your front foot arm. The arm that your front foot is at. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to basically extend and rotate your whole arm. So from your knuckles to your elbows to your shoulder. So like this slowly is just going to be, see how I rotate my wrist and my elbow and my shoulder? Now the way I rotate my shoulder is that I basically make sure that my shoulder is right next to my chin, so that way I get a little extra protection, a little extra defense, so I don't get hit in the jaw like this, you see? See how it's right there, and that way it's able to make me extend all the way my jab. And that's for safety as well, so you don't mess up your wrist or anything like that. That's why you want to rotate the jab in all your punches, basically to throw the punch the right way, get the most damage against it, and make sure that wrist doesn't get injured. You see. So now we're gonna start to show you how we're gonna do it in like a actual fighting way, like little tactics that you can do for the jab. So here we go. What you're gonna want to do for like a southpaw, or like a good way to just keep throwing jabs, you're gonna always stay on the outside. Because if you do that, you stay on the outside, you're gonna keep that distance going, make sure that they don't get inside from you. And a good way to do that is by using the jab, keeping the distance, and staying on the outside. So, here we go. You see how I'm keeping my foot on the outside of the bag? And I'm using the jab to keep the distance by extending my arm. Why the jab is so important, because I can basically be keeping the person away from me, keeping my distance, or I can be attacking as well. You see what I mean? Or I can try and run away on the outside. So on outside. Know what I'm saying? Jab is basically just your go-to punch for anything. When you're tired, when you're not all the punch, you throw the jab. Jab straight left because I'm a southpaw, so I'm going to show you why the 1-2 could be like very effective, and just like the basics on how to throw it. Alright, so this is the 1-2. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to extend all of your arms, both of your arms when you're throwing the jab, making sure that your shoulders are right next to your chin, and that you're rotating your wrist for that safety and that power. Let's start off with just the basic jab, just to warm up. Show me how to throw that jab. You see how I'm keeping my distance, keeping my balance, not like moving or anything like that, just staying still. That's what you want to do to keep that balance and to keep that power. Okay, now we're going to go with the number 2, the 2 punch, the power punch, or the speed punch, the counter punch, whatever you want to say, but yeah. So how I do this, I'm going to want to keep my foot outside, my front foot outside of the bag, basically outside the other dude's front foot, to keep that counter measure, you know what I'm saying? So I can keep that distance or go on, stay on his outside. Because if I stay on his outside, then I'm going to be able to throw that number 2 like that, like so slick right in his face. So yeah, start with the 2. So with all of the punches, just like it is, all the power is going to be on the legs and the hips. So with that 2, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep your feet planted. And when you throw it, you're going to want to pivot your toe, your feet, and rotate your hips all the way. Or else you're not going to get all that power, you know what I mean? And you're going to rotate your arms as well and your wrists. Rotate basically everything at the same time, your whole body, basically. All the way from your torso to your legs, to your arms, to your shoulders, everything. Keeping that distance, keeping that balance, not doing a whole lot of moving, just keeping still, keeping patient. Now let's go with the whole 1-2 now. Now the best way to do this is to just not do it like this. I see a lot of beginners, they just rotate their shoulders or their torso or anything. So how you're really going to want to do it to get the most extension and power is by just rotating your shoulders, you know what I mean? You do that, you get all the power, you get all the speed. And if you really feel like you really want to like attack him, then what you can do is you can bring that front foot with you throwing the jab, so like you can close distance on him if you feel like you have too much. And you really get those power combos on him. Just bring that front foot up and do whatever combo you want. You know what I mean? And yeah. You're gonna make sure that you always keep your foot on the outside. Because if you don't, you get on his inside, then you're basically gonna get punched, or you're not gonna be able to close that distance on him. You stay on the outside, you're going to be able to close the distance on him. And get that too wide on him like that. You stay on the inside, it's going to be kind of hard because you're going to be right in front of his punches. You stay on the inside, keep your front foot outside of his front foot,